Morning everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So as you can see, the kit car is back in one piece and still looking mint actually. See around the corner there, thanks to Joe Oates lending us his big covered trailer, kept it sort of dry from the rain. And yeah, as you can see, it's in one piece. Had an absolute fantastic day yesterday at Perranporth. We sort of stayed there till almost the end really, but my friend Tony, he had his first experience in his new track car. He bought a little Fiesta that was with a 1700 Puma in it actually, that's been proper trackified. And yeah, he had a fantastic day. Really getting to know the car now, pushing it way more than I was on the previous track day actually. Big thanks to the organisers. We actually had a couple of subscribers that turned up to say hello. Sort of seen that we were heading on down there, and they popped up, said hello. So it was really good. Thanks a lot, guys, for turning up. Really appreciate that. Thanks again, Joe, for lending us your trailer. Top job. The Jaguar. I said I'd give you a little sort of update on what we've got to do with that, because we have got the go ahead. Said that in the last video. So the Jaguar, guys, as I said, got the go-ahead on it. The chap came in early Friday morning just to sort of have a look, and have a talk through the estimate. Although it was quite a big estimate, to be honest, we were sort of more than fair. It was including new injectors, new supercharger, an exchange supercharger. What we were quoting was we're not going to put the heads on. We're going to get Stuart and Pete to do that. But we're going to put all new pistons and rings in there. We're going to deglaze the bores, although that's, obviously we're not building it. That's why I'm not putting the heads on. We're just going to do that. Hopefully, these two bores, see that one there, hopefully that should clean up. I mean, this is all depending on that bore and the other bore cleaning up, but I would have thought it will do. There's going to be a disclaimer on it, so we're basically just going to give Stuart and Pete the block back looking like that. We're going to polish the crank, put new crank bearings in there, obviously, and give this a good clean up and a paint and what have you. And they're going to obviously go through the cylinder heads, and they're going to put the heads back on and build it all up. But it was including pulleys, belts, and what have you. I think the whole bill was like $8,500, including the VAT. So, bearing in mind that was with the supercharger and injectors, etc. It's a V8. It's a V8 Jaguar at the end of the day, so what do you expect? I would have thought a new engine, fully dressed from Jaguar, is going to be 3 or 4 times that, God knows. But so yeah, got the go ahead on that. So we got to shift this as soon as we can. And then there is the MG Midget. We put this one in the last video, and the reason for doing that, guys, was to get some good information and get your take on this through the comments. Did read through a lot of the comments. Thank you very much for that. And we have took that on board, and we've took your advice, and we've dealt with this situation going on your advice really. We'll just head on over to the office and I'll give you a little explanation on what I've done. So ladies and gentlemen, quick update on the MG Midget. After the last video, read through the comments, and there was quite a lot of comments from you guys, so thank you very much for that, saying that really what you recommend that we do is sort of in effect tell the customer that it's not really our problem. It's not up to us to sort of suggest whether or not to put modified whatever on the engine really. It's up to us for a reconditioned engine to make sure that the engine is all within tolerances and original specs, and machine what we can and fit new parts, and really that's the end of it. If the customer wants sort of modified bits on the engine, then they should sort of state that at the beginning. So we took your advice. I come in this morning and I sort of made up an email for the customer, just so we've got a sort of paper trail of everything that's said, just stating really that the engine has been removed from the vehicle. What we did on the cylinder head could have been done in the car really, so we've sorted that. We've removed the engine from the vehicle because of this oil leak issue. We've stripped the engine, and what we found was there to be nothing wrong. We then said, the customer has sent a rear seal to us. We will fit it, but on the understanding that it's a non-standard item. We'll fit it as best we can and to the instructions, but if any issues from here on regarding this seal, we're not to be sort of held responsible. So I sent that email to them. I also said on there there'll be another email to follow with an estimate, and what I put on the estimate was the removal and the refitting of the engine, and also the stripping, diagnosing, checking for the oil leak, etc., and measuring items, and then fitting this new rear seal. And what we'll pay for is obviously the repair to the cylinder head, the collection of the vehicle, and the delivery back of the vehicle. And actually, he rang me up probably about half an hour after receiving the emails, and I half expected him to sort of let us have it over the phone, but no, he was actually fine. He said he'd read the emails, and that was, you know, understandable. He understands that there needs to be a paper trail of it, and could we just crack on and get it done ASAP? So yeah, really shocked by that. We'll go out there now and I'll just show you sort of what we've done and what was involved to fit this rear seal. As you can see, it's all back together now, and if you just look in this gap here, you've got the modified rear seal housing in there already. What we've done, so just sort of run over what we've done with this. We put another head gasket on, we put some seal around the outer edge. Because of the low head torque settings on these old engines, you do run the risk of sort of oil or water escaping from the outside of the head, in between the head and the block. So we just run a seal around there with the gasket, and that was the problem the customer was having. There was a drip of oil down here and again down here, so he's retorqued the head apparently and still getting that problem. So we put a new head gasket on there. We've redone the tappet clearances, and as far as we're concerned, that's going to be absolutely fine. Fingers crossed. Right, this rear seal housing, basically what you have to do, you've got down the bottom behind that aluminium seal housing down there. This is in two halves, this. Behind that one, you've got the main bearing cap. Now that has got a flat on it on the front, which sticks out from the block face about 11 mil. So then you've got the top half of the aluminium housing. That one there basically has to be the same, exactly flat, in line with the main cap. So what you have to do is just fettle that. We've had to take about 1/10 thou off that cap to get it flush. Then that all sits back. It all goes on with gooey, mind. It's all siliconed on, so it's all a bit iffy, but that's all you can do. So there's a plate that goes on there. Then the whole housing sort of goes over what was the rear sort of scroll. That bolts together with silicone again. Then the seal goes in, and then if you can see right at the back, see in between the flywheel and that aluminium housing, there's about a 1mm gap there. Well, they do supply like a 1.5 mil shim that sits against the flywheel, and then the flywheel goes against that. So what we've done is we've took about 1 mil off the back of the flywheel just to get, you know, a sensible gap there. So otherwise that flywheel at the back is going to rub on the seal, because the seal sits flush with that. Then the seal runs on the same flange on the back of the crank that the flywheel locates onto. So that's what we've done. We've had to strip it all out, and yeah, a bit of a nightmare fitting that, but fingers crossed it all works. As I said in the office, we have put a sort of disclaimer that this is a non-standard item. We'll fit it, you know, with the customer's say so, but if any oil issues arise, it's nothing to do with us really. All we can do is sort of go as per the instructions. One thing it does say on the instructions actually is check your breather system for the engine, because if there's excess crankcase pressure going past the rings, bear in mind this isn't bedded in yet, so it's going to be a bit better once the rings are bedded in. It could push the oil past the seal, and it said the seal, even if it works, if it's got excess crankcase pressure, it may not solve the problem, it might still leak. So yeah, we've noted all that in the disclaimer, and this is going to go back to Stuart and Pete in the morning, and they're going to fit it. So fingers crossed it all works, guys, but thanks ever so much again for all your comments. So if you excuse the pun, I've had another boring day. I have had a subscriber turn up this morning in his motorhome, and he's dropped off an 1800 MGB block, a crank, clutch, flywheel, all the bits, new set of pistons for me to do work on while he's down on holiday. So thank you very much. It was great to meet you. So we've got the block set up already. This is towards the end of the day now. I've bored the first bore. The pistons are at plus 20. This is actually a standard bore on this block, and it's even original paintwork. So really impressive. Been looked after. See, all the other bits are down there waiting to be balanced. The crank has got to be ground 10-10 on the mains and the big ends. Once that's ground, we can balance all the crank assembly. I've got to just face the block, then I've got to face the pistons. He wants the pistons to end up about 15 thou below the block face. But yeah, really good nick, and it's great to see a subscriber turn up. Always a pleasure. We've had other bits of various work turn up here. As you see, it all looks a little bit of a mess, but it is an organised chaos, actually. We have got the Kubota block is all finished. They're coming to pick that up in the morning. That was the one I put these straight liners in from the last video you've seen. Oh, the Land Rover block, the first Land Rover block, that's all finished and bored to that one. But we have one other engine that actually turned up about a week ago, but I haven't said anything yet because we just wanted to get it stripped and checked and see what we got. This is going to be in the next video. This is a Renault Master diesel. Renault, I don't know whether any of you know it, but Renault mess about with their engine codes, the different variations on all their parts. You've never known anything like it. And it just so happens that this one is a bit of a nightmare to get hold of anything. So this is from a YouTube watcher. They have got in touch with us. It's a garage, and said, look, they've tried various dealers to try and get a Recon motor. Can't get one. Can't seem to get any of the bits. So they sent it down to us just to see what we find. Now I shall tell you in the next video what we find and what the problems were. But I've just bored the block, and I've just faced the block one cut, and just as sort of one of the symptoms is a bit of a giveaway. One of the symptoms is the block face. Now, if you have a look at that, you see where it's cleaned all round there and all round here, but nowhere near the middle. So that is a bit of a nightmare. As I say, I'm going to give you a run through next video. So it looks like we're going to have to do some serious modding to the pistons and what have you. Could run into all sorts of trouble with this one. But thanks a lot for watching, guys. If you haven't already, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Please comment down below. Thanks a lot for your advice on the MG, and I shall see you on Wednesday. You take care, guys.